So let's jump into some third-party news. We don't cover much third-party news here on the podcast, but when we do, it's something that is really special and kind of fits in a niche in the Transformer world that's currently kind of absent and probably not going to be visited anytime soon from the Hasbro side of things. So let's talk about Fans Hobby, and they've been doing a whole bunch of Transformer Armada Micron Legend-esque kind of product. They did their MB-17 Naval Commander, their Armada Micron Optimus Prime Convoy, and it was received pretty well by people. People dig it. They like the different spin that they did on the design. And now they have their MB-17 Meg-Tyranno revealed today. It was actually revealed at 1 a.m. in the morning. And I woke up to this news and I'm like, oh man, this thing is gorgeous. Now, we knew it was coming. We saw some blurred images and stuff. We didn't have a name and we didn't have a full photo shoot. And now we have everything, the prototypes and then some. What I'm going to do, because there's just so many photos, I'm going to link in the comments below and in the description the full photo shoot at Fans Hobby's Facebook page, and you could go through everything. There's just too many photos because of how pretty much this original toy, even the original toy, just how much was going on with it. Now, this is, of course, a third-party leader class take of the Armada Megatron, aka Micron Megatron, designed by Aaron Archer back in the day in Hasbro, and it was one of the more ambitious designs. What I really loved about it, especially around that time in 2002, was that we didn't have a lot of play sets that existed with Transformers, and usually the play set kind of thing would always be applied to an Optimus Prime and his trailer, but Megatron in a lot of ways was his own little base with the little platforms and stuff, and I really dug that with the original toy, and this transferred over very well. So let's go into all the little fine details. So let's start with the robot mode and stuff. I'm just going to pull up the whole million-page photography that's going on here. So with the robot mode itself, a lot of fine details and extra articulation were added, more show-accurate kind of fine details too. I actually reached out to Fans Hobby and I had a few questions that I wanted to make sense of, because in their photo shoot they show Megatron's side cannon on his left side. Historically, with the toy and in the show, it was always used on the right side. They did confirm with me that the cannon can be put on either side if they want. They just put it on the left side here for the photo shoot, so you could decide which side you want to have the cannon on. What's also cool is what was originally a Minicon activated gimmick exclusive to just one hand. He had his little hand blade thingy. Now he has it on both hands, so that's pretty cool too. So now it's on both sides and just looks really good. The articulation is spot on. There's not much really that could be said about the robot mode outside of a certain someone who I guess we don't really need to name from Hasbro, but who worked on this toy, isn't a big fan of how the face was transitioned, but I think it's more for a show accuracy as opposed to how it looked on the toy. It doesn't look like it has the extra gimmick of the faceplate protection gimmick that he had too, but that's really about it. And I don't think that faceplate was ever used in the show, if I remember correctly. It was just specifically something on the toy, so there's more of an aim for show accuracy going on here. Before we get to the alt mode and of course the crazy Minicon gimmicks, let's talk about the Minicon itself, aka the Micron. We have Leader 1, aka Barrel, as he was called in Micron Legend, and there's only so much you could do with a small Transformer and its price point. Pretty much you take the original toy and you give it, I guess, look, it has elbow articulation now. There's not much else that really can be done. I'm curious if it is able to do the gun mode. It looks like it does. I mean, it looks like it has the peg to be able to be held as a gun, and of course, just because of how the transformation worked, it does look like it can do the gun mode. So hey, that's awesome. It's Leader 1. There's only so much that we could extrapolate from him. Now let's get into the most important part, and it's that of the vehicle mode, and of course all the bells and whistles that go with it. He turned into that H-Tank. Looks really good. Of course, the H-Tank is more accurate to how he looked in the show and less so how he looked in the toy, the original toy. So nice there. I like how with the original toy, the head was only so tucked in when it was in the vehicle mode. This one, they managed to tuck it in as much as possible, but still have the little antlers peeking out for a little bit of a attack gimmick. I love the vehicle mode when it has all the Minicon stuff attached. There is so much going on here that's even more so than that of the original toy. Of course, a lot of these Minicon points can be activated through a traditional male Minicon point. Excuse me, with a female Minicon point and a male one. And, of course, 3mm pegs all over the place if you want to use your traditional Siege and Earthrise Micromasters that also have 3mm pegs on them, just without a Minicon point. There's pop-up turrets. There's pop-up platforms. There's little kinds of rotary arms. There's, the capture platform from the original toy is there too. There's so many little things going on. It looks so nice. And again, my words do not do it justice because there's some great photo shoots that just show everything that's going on, mixing it up with traditional Minicons so you could see how they work with those, mixing it up with the War for Cybertron Micromasters so you could see how it works with those, even mixing it up with their current MB line of third-party Minicons, like we get to see pretty much how the Sparkplug looks here also. So it looks great. It looks really, really good. Again, my words cannot do it justice. Check out the photo shoot. I'm going to post it in the description and in the comments. We even have a photo of it next to MB-17 in both super mode and smaller Optimus Prime convoy robot mode to show you the scale and how it works. I like how the scale works, especially with the smaller Optimus. I posted this on my Twitter this morning to kind of also show from an animation standpoint just how smaller Optimus was to Megatron when he was in a smaller Optimus mode. Looks great. Looks really good. I'm looking forward to this. I'm very curious how many more bells and whistles I'm missing out here. Do the antlers have a little spring gimmick? Probably not. But it looks really good. And again, the Armada fandom that grew up with this back in 2002, who were between essentially 5 and 10 years old, they're adults now. They have nostalgia for their first Transformer series. And it's nice to get something that is brought up to speed in the modern era when we're still, unfortunately, kind of stuck in a lot of G1 kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I grew up on G1. That's my first Transformer series. But I do sympathize with people from different generations of Transformers and what they grew up with. And it's nice for them to have this kind of option. And now that they're adults, they have their first job, they could buy this kind of more high-end stuff. It's out there. They could buy it. They could enjoy it. And this is great. This is great news. Again, Fans Hobby on their Facebook page if you want to check out more of their stuff. I will post the links, so it'll make it easier for you to find it. But this is pretty hype. This is pretty hype. The next thing now only really is after they do this, I guess we're going to see a Galvatron repaint at some point. And maybe if they're really feeling excited and they feel there's some traction behind this, they could even do like a Mega Zarek kind of, I guess we'll call it BotCon repaint, all kinds of like little things that could be done. It's a very good mold. It's a very good mold. There's a lot of cool stuff that could be done with it, and I'm really excited to see what Fans Hobby has in the future for the Armada line. If the Optimus, and of course their Energon Optimus find success.